So, recently I've been rewatching one of my favorite TV shows ever, Supernatural, with my fiance. Now, this is only my second time rewatching this specific portion of the show that I'm going to talk about today, because I came across an episode in Season 4, specifically Season 4, Episode 8, that really seems like it inspired obsession. Whether this is a case of direct inspiration or just a crazy coincidence and Curry Barker has never seen Supernatural before, I had to touch on this as I loved the movie and I also loved this show. So I wanted to look at the similarities between this episode and the movie and see if we can figure out if Curry Barker truly drew inspiration from this, as I believe he did after watching this episode. Now, before I get into the part that seems to be a almost direct copy of what Obsession became, and I'm not saying that the movie copied the show in a bad way, like I think they expanded on the concept, but I remember while watching Obsession, I said, this concept has never been done before. And I didn't remember this specific portion I'm going to talk about from Season 4, Episode 8 of Supernatural. I personally only remembered the most iconic, in my opinion, part of this episode, where the evil teddy bear, or not evil, he actually just depressed and kind of, I don't think I'd say that word, but sewer slidle on, you know, because the girl brought him to like, okay, let's back up a minute. Okay, let's back up a minute. All right, so let's start with the item that actually causes these things to happen in the show. Because the premise of the episode of Supernatural, much like Obsession, there is a mystical object of sorts that can grant wishes, make wishes come true. But as usual with the monkey's paw trope, it goes wrong. It will inevitably go wrong. And that happens not only with the teddy bear that the girl brings to life and he gets depressed and realizes that the world's a terrible place, which, Lord, back in like '08, it wasn't nearly as bad as it is right now, but different video for a different time. But the thing is, it wasn't just that. There was also a portion where a kid that got bullied made himself like essentially superhuman, like the kid from Brightburn before that was ever a thing. Maybe another inspiration from this. Honestly, I think Supernatural influenced a lot of different movies and TV shows, but this one was so on the nose that I could not help myself but talk about it. But like in Obsession, where there's a one-wish willow that, you know, is broken, and then Nikki gets obsessed with Bear. It's essentially the same thing in this episode of Supernatural, except we see multiple wishes going on at the same time. It's a whole town that is essentially affected by a wishing well. So instead of a one-wish willow, it's a wishing well that you throw coins in, make a wish, and it will make it come true. Obviously with other implications, but the people don't know that, as the case with most TV shows and movies where this trope happens. The people are pretty oblivious. They're like, oh, my dreams are coming true. It even shows a guy that we never saw on screen that won the lottery. I would honestly have loved to see what happened to him. But getting back on the main topic here, we see that all these wishes go bad, and it's essentially the same premise as Obsession. But that's not really the part that made me think it was so influenced by this episode. The part that really got me was this guy that makes the wish for a girl to love him, essentially. And we're presuming that this is a guy that probably is similar age to this girl, although they try to make the actors look different ages. But he's essentially, it's a girl named Hope. I can't remember the guy's name right now, even though I just watched it last night. Squirrel brain, ADHD. But I do remember the girl's name being Hope. And essentially, she's trapped into the same sort of loop that Nikki's in. And there's just some very hyper-specific spots that just really reminded me of Obsession. Mainly the scenes where he actually tells Sam and Dean that he specifically wished for her to love him more than anyone in the world.
I wish she would love me more than anything.
Yeah, and how is that going? That seem healthy to you?
That's almost verbatim, or really is verbatim, what Bear wishes for in Obsession. So I thought that was very interesting. I remember me and my fiance turned and looked at each other because we were both big fans of Obsession. And when that line was spoken, we both kind of looked at each other and were like, whoa, I gotta make a video on this. Like, before she even said it, I knew what she was gonna say, because this is right up my alley. I love niche shit like this. I love it. Anything media, if you guys couldn't tell from literally this whole channel, I'm in love with it and have been for longer than any of the other loves in my life besides God and my family. So there you go. But there's another part that really just, I believe this is almost, it has to be inspiration, honestly. Like, there's no other explanation, because when he's asleep, it shows the guy asleep in his house, and this Hope girl, she comes up and brings him a snack, right?
I might want a snack.
And it's like a full meal, and he essentially asks her, like, are you happy? Or tells her, I want you to do things that you used to do.
I want you to start doing things that made you happy before.
Yes, Wes, I'll try to be happier. I'll start right away.
No, that's not what I mean.
And she essentially, like, she acts the same way as the entity in Obsession does. Like, you guys would just have to watch it, and if I'm gonna do my best to put clips up here without getting copyright stricken to hell and back, no pun intended, because it's supernatural. Shout out Dean. But anyway, my thing is, her mannerisms are very similar to Nikki. Like, the way that she apologizes and is like, oh, I'll do anything you want, but you can tell that she really doesn't want to. Now, I will say, this woman got a very much better ending than Nikki got, because she didn't actually kill anybody. Yo, little note right here. I said she didn't try to kill anybody, but I just remembered after recording the original clip that, yes, she most definitely did attempt to kill Sam Winchester, because she struck him with a bolt of lightning. So, when I said that she was much more innocent than Nikki, take that with a grain of salt, because she low-key did try to pull a similar move, because when the guy walks in and sees her in there, she's throwing a coin in.
Wished a man dead?
I love you more than anything.
Stop saying that. Stop it.
And says, I had to do it. He was going to try to break us up or something of those lights. So, yeah, just wanted to throw that piece of information in there that I just remembered. So, there y'all go. Or really do anything too crazy, anything too wild before they got there and freed her from the trance, and like she didn't remember any of it. So it's a lot different from Obsession, where it's like a much more darker premise in Obsession, and they go into it, you know, a lot deeper with more themes. So that's why, like, don't take this video as me trying to call out Curry Barker and say, oh, he stole a concept from 10 years, you know, almost 20 years previous. No, everything in media takes inspiration from something, whether they want to admit it or not. There's truly not many original ideas left. Take YouTube for an example. I try my best to innovate and create new ideas that will entertain people that I don't see on my homepage personally, but you got to understand there's millions of videos being uploaded a day that I can't possibly see all of, or even a fraction of a percent of, in my 24-hour day. So there's no telling if there's already other videos talking about this exact thing on the internet, but when I was trying to search for it, I couldn't find it, and I really don't know how anybody hadn't pointed this out, because as I mentioned, this is one of the more iconic episodes of Supernatural. Like, the whole reanimated bear, like being a depressed chud, essentially, that was a very, very popular thing online and has been memed to death. Now, my biggest theory on that is that maybe not many people have rewatched this episode since watching Obsession, because I immediately just made the connection. Now, I forgot to mention earlier, one thing that I really did like about this that kind of aids my point more is the guy who actually made the well magic is the guy who wished for the girl to love him. His coin is the one that actually grants the wishes to everybody else, because it's like a coin that his grandfather brought back from war, gave to him, or at least he alleges that's what it is, and it's a wish coin from like another country. And I do really like that premise, and if Curry Barker did use this as inspiration, which I truly believe he did, I love that, you know, and I would honestly love if this ever got confirmed. If I'm ever lucky enough to interview more high profile people and I ever get to sit down with Curry Barker. He is from Alabama, so that would be an amazing collab. I'm probably reaching there because I don't know how or when that would ever happen. But if I mark my words, if I ever get to sit down with that man or even virtually sit down with that man, I've got to ask, were you inspired by this episode of Supernatural? Because Obsession was one of my favorite movies of the year. Horror or just movies in general, it was one of my favorites of the year. My cousin as well. Really everybody I know loved that movie. Like my cousin loved it so much he went and watched it twice just to see if he could understand it even better than he did the first time. And that's the type of movie that you want. You know, that's the type of experience you want as an audience member. And I always felt Supernatural delivered a similar experience. I've never really watched another show that gave me the same feeling as Supernatural, especially watching it back. It's very nostalgic because I can remember my first time watching it and my fiance's never seen it before. But either way, I just wanted to quickly make this video because, I mean, two things that I love, I noticed some great similarities between. Haven't seen anybody talk about it. That's really the gist of it. Not even sure how long this video is going to be once I try to cut down all the rambling, but I hope you guys kind of enjoyed this different type of video looking at you know, inspiration or potential inspiration and then something that came after it. Let me know down in the comments if you guys agree and think that this episode did influence Obsession, and I would highly recommend you to go watch season 4 episode 8 of Supernatural if you don't remember what I'm talking about or fully understand what I'm talking about, or if the clips didn't fully do what I'm trying to say justice. You guys know what I mean. Y'all smart YouTube viewers. So yeah, I just wanted to come on here and talk about that today, but without rambling no more, hope y'all enjoyed the video, and make sure to come back for whatever I do next. And yeah, come hang out again soon. See y'all.